Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, today is National Grammar Day, so if you're celebrating that today, I wish you a very happy day. National Grammar Day is a very big day in the United States. It was started by an American author called Martha Brockenbrough, Martha Brockenbrough, and she's a lady who writes books for young people, for teenagers, and for kids. I think she's done a few. I think she's done a few books for adults as well, so you might find that quite useful. She explained that she started the day because she wanted to help her students with their grammar in a lively and positive way. She said, language is something to be celebrated, and March 4th is the perfect day to do it. And apparently in America, students do all kinds of preparations for National Grammar Day. And it says here, before you announce to the world which words you dislike, take a moment to consider that the world is unlikely to be waiting to hear you say that. So rather than criticizing someone's grammar, why not celebrate the day? Oh, really? To be honest, I think criticizing someone's grammar is probably more fun, but speaking as a teacher, I do understand, of course, that grammar is absolutely necessary. I have to say that National Grammar Day, I'm sure, is very, very useful. Grammar itself gives you the basics of a language, but grammar itself can never really help you to speak better. And every day I talk to students who tell me, oh, Teacher Joseph, I've been reading this grammar book, but I still can't speak well. And I'm thinking, well, why do you think a book can help you to speak? The two things are not related. A grammar book is the study of how grammar and linguistics works and how we classify things into different categories. Speaking has nothing to do with that. When I go to the coffee shop in the morning times, which I do sometimes, I don't say to the barista, I was just using a really, really nice reported speech example yesterday. If I did that, I think the barista, if they understood my meaning, would be a little bit surprised. I've never heard any English person speaking about grammar unless maybe they're on a TV quiz show or in a competition, or like me, a teacher. When English teachers get together, we do tend to discuss these kind of things, but learning grammar has nothing to do with presentation, speaking well. And I don't know why people are confused when they hear that. I mean, I think a book of any kind isn't related to how you sound. It can give you knowledge, but even the knowledge it gives you isn't always helpful. If you're looking to speak better, it's better to listen to the radio and repeat, noticing the nuances like the hard H, the letter R, how it's softened. There's only 50 sounds in English, and once you know those sounds, it's much easier to make them. And that's a very different thing from sitting down with a grammar book trying to punish yourself over grammar. So just keep that in mind. There may be a need for you to be more open-minded with regards to your English study, because your communicative English is never going to be determined by a grammar book. It will be determined by how well you sound like a native speaker. Even in exams, grammar is never really asked for by name. You're supposed to demonstrate your knowledge of grammar by using it. But in IELTS and Cambridge, for example, no one is going to say, okay, what's the present perfect? So just keep that in mind, because a lot of people out there seem to think that calling the present perfect by its real name is a knowledge that you need. But if you ask any Englishman what's the present perfect or what's an adverb, he's going to look at you strangely. Unless he's a teacher, he's probably not going to know. It's not something that we even study here. When I was a little boy at school, we weren't taught grammar. We were taught how to use it. We were taught how to speak well, but we didn't know what to call these things. When I was training to be a teacher, I had to learn the names of all the bits of grammar, like adverbs, conditionals, present perfect, etc. But growing up, it's not something that we know. It's not something that they give us. The system's probably changed now with all the access to information, but even the names of grammar that we do learn as children, we quickly forget because it is of no real use in a world where money or getting a job or trying to live your life is the main priority. As long as you can demonstrate grammar, that's the most important thing. But whether you call something the conditional or the present perfect, I don't think anyone is going to know the difference. For your exams, if you're looking at doing an actual grammar exam at school, of course you'll need to know these things, but in general communication, you won't. Speaking of school and school education, it looks like they finally managed to identify who Banksy is, the artist. The media today is saying that they think it's a man called Robin Gunningham, and they've managed to track down to find some school friends who remember this man at school being particularly good at arts. And there's pictures of this guy Robin in the media that they found. They're not 100% sure, but they are fairly positive that it's him, because somebody has brought forward some kind of legal action against Banksy to force him to reveal his identity, and he's resisting that, and it's somehow linked to this man, Robin Gunningham. Apparently, all of Banksy's works, I mean, their releases and their distribution are operated by a company called Pest Control Limited, which is a bit strange because, of course, pest control, that's the people you call if you have mice in your house, or if you have a problem with insects in your house, you call a company that deals with pest control. So it's a bit strange that Banksy would be distributing his art with a company with that name, but I don't know the history. So there we are. So this could be the revelation that some of you have been waiting for, all about Banksy and his true identity. Just the other day, someone asked me what's my favorite bit of grammar. Now, if you ask an Englishman that, he's not going to have any idea what you're referring to or what you're talking about. But for me, I do have a favorite bit of grammar. I really, really like the word would. And I like the word would because you can do so much with it, really. First of all, it's very polite, which I like. Would you like a cup of tea? And of course, uh, if you're wondering where that comes from and why we use it, it's because it's part of a conditional. Would you like a cup of tea if I asked you? No, I wouldn't if you asked me. So we just leave out the last part. It's an ultra polite way of saying, do you want a cup of tea? So I do like the word would. Yeah. I think it's because it has so many possibilities. You can use it to think about your future. Oh, I would love to be. I would like to be. If I was an astronaut, I would. Yeah, I love that. And if you want to practice some of your conditionals today, a great song to do that for National Grammar Day would be the Stylistics. They had a song called I'm Stone in Love with You. Stone in Love. I've no idea what stone in love means, but clearly it's some kind of emphasis on completely in love. Stone in love? I've never heard the word stone, but the song can be translated as I'm completely in love with you. And just to read you a few lines, the Stylistics, they tell us, if I could, I'd like to be a great big movie star. Overnight sensation, drive a big, expensive car. I would buy you everything your little heart desires. These things I do because I'm stone in love with you. And then they tell us in different scenarios the kind of things that they would do using some lovely conditionals. The next verse says, if I were a businessman, I'd sit behind a desk. I'd be so successful, I would scare Wall Street to death. To scare something to death means to scare it until it dies. And then the stylistics tell us, I would hold a meeting for the press to let them know I did it all because I'm stone in love with you. And then they go through some other verses, but the last one says, I'd like to someday be the owner of the first house on the moon. There would be no neighbors and no population boom. You might say that all I do is dream my life away. I guess it's true, 'cause I'm stone in love with you. And that's the stylistics teaching us about the conditionals. Wow, I like that. I like it when a group uses good English, which these lyrics clearly are. A very nice song to practice your conditionals. So, my favorite word in grammar is definitely would, because it gives us all kinds of possibilities for the future. My favorite English phrase, I think that would be the next best thing. The next best thing. Now, the next best thing is a phrase we use to talk about the next available thing which suits our purpose. So, for example, if I can't buy a car, then maybe I'll buy a motorcycle instead. It's the next best thing. If I can't eat a donut today, then I'll eat a cake suitable for diabetics. It's the next best thing that I can do. If I can't afford to give John an expensive wedding gift when he gets married, I'll buy him a small gift, yet a meaningful gift. It would be the next best thing. A lovely thing to say, isn't it? A lovely thing to say. By the way, just in closing, just to let you know what's happening with the transcripts, as you know, I don't always do transcripts, okay, if I'm outside, and also if I'm short of time, I don't do transcripts either, okay? So this morning I have to go for a blood test, so I'm rushing, so I won't have the chance to do a transcript for you today. However, transcripts will be back tomorrow as usual, just to let you know. So if you do have any questions about this podcast, if there's anything in it that you don't understand, then just drop me a note and I'll be happy to try to help. And that's it from me today. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Take care. Bye.